Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Julie. I am a homeschooling mom of 5. This is my 7th year, going into my 7th year of homeschooling my kiddos. And in today's video, I'm going to answer a few homeschooling questions. My friend Laura Hoyda sent over a few questions about homeschooling. She is just starting to homeschool her oldest son. I'll let her introduce herself to you now.
Hey guys, my name is Laura and I am a Canadian stay-at-home mom of 2 kiddos, Charlie who is 6 and going into grade 2, and Bellamy who is 3. And this year will be the first year that I am tackling homeschooling. I'm actually doing distance learning through a private nonprofit in our province in Canada, and this is the first time that we've done it. Now, distance learning is not that different than homeschooling. I guess the biggest difference is that I'm not choosing the curriculum, but I will be supplementing and doing a lot of home learning outside of what's being facilitated by the distance learning school as well. As a first-time home learning facilitator, I really feel like I have a lot of questions.
Laura sent over a few questions for me all about homeschooling as she is just starting this homeschooling journey. So I'm going to answer those for her today as well as for you if you're new to homeschooling. I hope that this will be a help to you, an encouragement to you as you start homeschooling. Laura also has a YouTube channel, so I will link her channel down in my description below. I would love if you would check out her channel as well. She posts a lot of videos on minimalism, on housekeeping, cleaning, parenting, and I'm sure you'll see a bit of homeschooling content on her channel coming out soon as well.
So I have 6 questions, and the first question is, do you have a defined snack and lunch time? Because we don't, and I feel like we kind of snack and eat throughout the day, which probably isn't optimal, but I'm not sure if there is a better way. So do you have this sort of set in stone, or do you just eat as you feel like it?
In general, we like to follow a routine. So I would say our lunch time is very regular. We usually eat right around noon. So sometimes that might be 11:45 or 12:15, but whether it's the summer or the school year, we keep a fairly consistent lunch time. As far as snacks go, we don't usually do a morning snack. My toddler will, and so kind of whenever he's grumpy, I'll give him a snack. But my older kids, I usually don't give them any food between breakfast and lunch, just so that they are hungry for their meal, the healthier food in their meal. We do afternoon snacks, but by that time, school's done.
My second question is, when you start the day, do you take frequent breaks, like every 45 minutes or every 15 minutes or every hour and a half? Or do you just plow through the day and then take your break in one big chunk at the end of the day? I know a lot of people homeschool in the mornings and then kind of have a free afternoon, or vice versa. So just wondering what you do.
I would say yes, we do usually take fairly specific breaks. So we typically start the school day around 9 o'clock. And usually it's less of a exact time that we'll take a break. It's more after a few subjects. So usually we'll start the day with Bible, we'll do writing, we'll do our group subjects, then we take a break, and then they do math before lunch. So usually it's about an hour and a half of school, then they take a break for 20 minutes, and then we get going again for probably another hour, and then we have our lunch break.
My third question is, do you partner with other homeschooling moms in the area? And if so, how do you find them? Are there online Facebook groups or meetup groups? Or how have you partnered with other homeschooling families in your community, if you have?
Yes, it has been very important for me as a homeschooling mom to have a community, friendship with other homeschooling moms and other homeschooling families as well. So we are currently in a co-op, and we meet weekly for a couple of hours. Now, for the past few years, this co-op has involved teaching different subjects. Each of the moms takes on one subject that they teach. We're meeting indoors. This fall, we haven't started school yet, but this fall when we begin again, it's gonna look very different. I think it's gonna be more of a weekly outdoor time, less learning and more just like forest school type idea, where we are meeting together and the kids will just explore for a couple of hours. Because of COVID, I don't know that we'll be able to find a place indoors to be able to meet. How can you find a homeschooling community? So there are a few different ways, a few different levels, I guess, of homeschool community. So this is going to be different wherever you live, and I haven't looked much into what these homeschooling groups are like in different areas across Canada or in the States. But where we currently are in Ontario, we have a homeschool group for our county. So you pay a small annual fee, and we are part of this homeschool group. What comes with that is we get monthly newsletters just letting us know what field trips are going on, what activities are available, what homeschooling conferences may be coming up, different homeschool speakers we can find online, a whole bunch of different stuff in a newsletter. We'll also get emails if someone in our local community is selling their homeschooling materials. They'll email out saying, is anybody interested in this curriculum? So it's a good way to be connected to people close in your area. This also gives us insurance as a homeschooling family. So if we are to get together with some other families and go on a field trip, we are covered through this homeschooling group that we are paying into. That's just a small annual fee, and we do that every year. When I first started wanting to get some other homeschooling friends, find some other homeschoolers in the community that wanted to meet together on a regular basis, you can go on Facebook, go on Google, just search your town, your city, and homeschool group, see what comes up. On Facebook, I am a part of probably 3 or 4 local homeschooling groups. So some are in my town, some are in the next city over. Just people always discussing homeschooling and saying, oh, does anybody want to go to the park today for a meetup? Through those pages, you may also be able to find a group that meets on a regular basis that you can plug yourselves into and join that group. If there's not, you can make up your own group. Say, hey, is anybody willing to start meeting monthly or bi-weekly? Anybody willing to start this group off on our own? And if you are that leader type that wants to get something going, you'll probably be able to find enough other homeschooling moms that would love to join with you. Especially this year, as there are so many homeschooling families, and so many of them are new, and I think there are a lot of homeschooling moms that will be craving that interaction with other homeschooling families. So I'm assuming it would be fairly simple to find some other homeschooling families that you can start meeting together with, whether you want to do like homeschool mom meetings or just family outings together, field trips with other families. Having other homeschooling moms to associate with and to be able to meet with on a regular basis has really been an asset for our homeschool.
Do you have homeschooling traditions, little things that you do every year? And if so, what's one that you love doing?
Yes, we have a few homeschooling traditions. I would say most of them revolve around our first day of school and our last day of school. So on our first day of school, we always read the book, just a little kid's book called This Is My Home, This Is My School. I will try to remember to link that down below. It's just a really cute story I like to read to the kids. We always take pictures, both first and last day of school, of the kids holding up their sign saying first day of whatever grade they are in, as well as last day. Another thing we always do is an interview. So I found, again, I'll try to remember to link this, but it's these printables of little interviews that the kids fill out. So they fill out a whole bunch of questions on the first day of school and then on the last day of school. And I always keep these papers and look back on them, see how my kids were writing and who their best friend was and how they write their name and just some of those questions that are on these little interviews. We always try to make the first and last day of school fun, so we'll have something special for breakfast, or we'll go out for ice cream. We'll do something food related fun, kind of like a little party on the first and last day of school. Through the school year, I'm sure there are a lot of traditions we have, but it's just normal for us. So I'm trying to think what would be considered a tradition that we regularly do. We always take off 3 weeks at Christmas time, and I know almost every school does 2 weeks. For us, I love Christmas. Our family loves the Christmas season, and so we always take off 3 weeks of school.
Next, what do you do with a learner who just is really resistant to learning a lesson that day, or maybe even resistant to learning an entire subject? If your child just does not want to do science, let's say, how do you deal with that?
This is a tricky one. My first answer would be I make them do it anyways, and I am pretty strict that way, and just, you know what? We're doing it. I'm the teacher, you're the student. We're gonna get this done today. Of course, there could be so much more to the situation. If my child is just really struggling with one subject and just can't seem to get into it, can't seem to enjoy it, I am all for sitting down and talking with them and letting them have their say in what they're learning. So I'll sit down with that child and say, I've noticed that you're really having a hard time with this subject. Should we switch our day around? Like, would you rather do that subject that maybe isn't your favorite earlier on in the day? Is there just something about it that you really don't like? I do want my kids to enjoy learning, and so it's sometimes tricky to find that balance because I want them to learn to do hard things. So life isn't just all about enjoying everything. You have to do things through life that you don't necessarily enjoy, and it's good to learn diligence and perseverance. But at the same point, they are going to learn so much better if they find that subject interesting. So I would also take a step back and look at that curriculum and see, is it really boring, and see why that child isn't enjoying that subject. Sometimes it might just be time to try a new curriculum. Okay, my memory card was just full, and so I had to delete a few old videos. So if my positioning has totally changed, that's why. But I was just gonna finish off that answer to say, sometimes we do just all have off days. My kind of go-to answer is, let's just read aloud. So after finishing our kind of main subjects, so your math, reading, writing, we'll just sit down and read aloud for a while. Maybe it's time to have a day off and just go take a trip to the park. Maybe it's time for a field trip day, or just mix things up a little bit. But for the most part, I would say I do try to teach my kids to be disciplined and just get it done. Even if you don't love it, just get it done, and we'll move on to something else.
Next, what is one piece of advice that you would give a new homeschooling family?
One piece of advice. It's so hard to pick just one thing, one little tip, one little bit of encouragement. I would say don't overcomplicate it. Don't compare yourself to other homeschoolers. Some homeschooling families might have a beautifully done, Pinterest-worthy schoolroom. Some will just do school at the kitchen table. That's what we do. Yes, we want to look around and find the absolute best curriculum, but don't bank everything on the curriculum and on what your schoolroom looks like and on what your schedule looks like and how much time you're spending on each subject. You can get very overwhelmed thinking about all these important aspects of your homeschool, but all of those aspects of your homeschool are just homeschool tools. Your curriculum is just a homeschooling tool. It is your servant, it's not your master. Your homeschool should be a place where you as a parent and your child are bonding, you are learning respect for each other, you're trying to teach your child a love for learning, instill that real love for learning new information. You can buy the most expensive curriculum out there, or you can base your homeschool just off of printable worksheets for your child. All of those extra details are not the most important thing. So make your curriculum work for you. You can have a successful year no matter what curriculum you choose. Your homeschooling room doesn't need to be perfect. Like I said, we sit at the kitchen table, do all of our work, or sometimes we're in the living room doing our schoolwork. You can do school in the morning, you can do school in the afternoon. Make it work for you, and don't base your success off of what other homeschooling families are doing and what their homeschool looks like and even what their kids are achieving each year. Comparison can definitely kill your joy and your peace in your own homeschooling journey.
And finally, what are your favorite homeschooling YouTube channels and or podcasts or any digital content that you like to consume that is sort of supportive and around the community of homeschooling?
All right, homeschooling channels. I have so many favorite homeschooling channels. It's hard to pick just a few. I absolutely love Abby from her channel Rooted in Rest. I will try to link some of these channels down below so you can check these out for yourself. Julie from the Creek family, she has a large family that she homeschools and she just has really simple tips. My sweet friend Deanna at Called to Cultivate, I love listening to her talk about their homeschooling journey and the resources they use. Jamie Kite has some really good homeschooling videos. Oglesby Ohana is it's not a new channel, but it's a new to me channel that I have found. And she's a really sweet homeschooling mom talking about homeschooling her kids. Also my friend Christy over at her channel One Blessed Meth. She's just going into her second year of homeschooling, so she's a new homeschooler as well. And I've really enjoyed following her journey, her new homeschooling journey. As far as podcasts go, I do not listen to many homeschooling podcasts. The only one I really listen to is called Homeschool On, and that is by Rebecca Spooner. She is the creator of Gather Round, which is the homeschooling curriculum that we are using this fall. And I love listening to her talk about homeschooling. I feel very relatable. She feels very relatable to me. She is also in BC, Laura, if you want to check her out. She's in BC. She has 5 kids just like myself, Canadian mom just like myself, and her podcast has really been helpful to me.
Thanks so much for answering my questions today, Julie. I love your YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel as well if you'd like to go check it out. It's about my life on the other side of Canada in Vancouver, or just outside of Vancouver, BC in Surrey. And I make videos about my life as a stay-at-home mom, and I will definitely be sharing my homeschooling journey this year if you'd like to check out my channel.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for asking me these questions. I hope that this was helpful for you and informative. Also for you other new homeschoolers out there, I hope that this was helpful for you. I know that there are a lot of moms just starting to homeschool this year, and I would love to be an encouragement to you. If you want to subscribe to my channel, hit that subscribe button down below and you won't miss any of my new content that's coming out. Share this with any other new homeschoolers you might know that you think would enjoy watching this video. I'll see you next time.